What's up, everybody? I'm back as a school sports guy here. I'm gonna be joined shortly by Tom on the new podcast here, rounding down the last few weeks of the NFL regular season, and we're gonna be talking about a lot of cool, interesting topics along the way. So a little glitch at the beginning of it back, but without further ado, I'm gonna welcome in Tom to our broadcast. Hello, Tom. How you doing, man?
I am great. I am great. I'm ready to talk some football. I hope you're doing okay as well. Thanks for
Doing
having
great,
me.
man. Yeah, I'm trying to get my lay of the land. I haven't done a podcast in the last few weeks. Good old
Been a minute.
holiday
We miss
schedule
you.
and everything. But we are back. We're live. We're doing this and lots of stuff to talk about. The NFL doesn't keeps entertaining us. Don't you think?
Yeah, they. It is. It very much is.
Yeah, man. So a few topics. I haven't just do a little bit of rundown. We're talking about Bills, Patriots coming up, Cowboys, Washington coming up, and a few of the previous games too that we saw this past weekend. Bucks being shut down, what that means for them. Chiefs Chargers game was the last Thursday game. It was a really good nail biter right there. Few teams that are on the bubble trying to get into that playoff spot, trying to get that wild card spot. Steelers could be one of them. Cardinals not so much on the bubble, but still looking kind of shaky going into the playoffs. And a few, not a few, but one key moment. Ravens trying to make the game exciting at the last point, at the last part again, going for two, seeing how that plays out. But yeah, first things we'll talk about those later on in the show. First things first, Bills versus Patriots, part two. Now I'm trying to be fancy right there with the French. How do you feel like they're playing? They're going to be playing in Buffalo, right? Because they played the first game in at Gillette, or no?
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
they played in Gillette, I believe. Yeah, and it was a blizzard going on. So next game is going to be in Buffalo.
Right.
Um, it's. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'm good. So Bills, yeah, at the beginning of the season, looking great, amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. Yeah, sorry. I was just double checking because I had a slight feeling. The game is in New England. The first game was in
Okay.
Buffalo.
So I was thinking, I'm like, well, either place can get just as cold, but yeah, I was kind of like, I couldn't tell what it was on my memory bank right now. It seemed like, yeah, they're cold as all get out. So they're playing at Gillette this time. So Patriots home field advantage. I don't think either one of them matters at this point. I mean, we know what the deciding factor was. Not the deciding factor, but what played a huge part in the Bills. I don't think the Bills are a horrible defensive team. At the beginning of the season, I did call them out to be the best offensive team and the best defensive team for me, but they've struggled along the way. We've had a lot of ups and downs with them. So this game pretty important. We talked about it before the podcast. Bills really had to get this one with it, like you were saying, tiebreakers and everything. This could be a really crucial point coming down to the last three games. The Bills have two uh, two of their last three games are division games. One against the Patriots this week, and one against the Jets. So um, I don't know, man. It's gonna be kind of rough. I still think the Bills have the weapons and everything. However, with everything going on with COVID and people getting knocked out of contention, Cole Beasley's the last one. I think I heard him yesterday. Got COVID and he's out for 10 days, so he's not going to be playing. So I don't think he's a, a really like an all star and everything, but he's a key player out there. So those are my thoughts. I think I would bet on the Bills, but I don't know. I don't know what to bet on these days. What about you?
Uh, so I don't know who I'm gonna bet on quite yet. I'm sure I'll have the answer by the time we're making the picks. Of course, you know me, I'm gonna lean a little towards the Patriots, I think, as of right now. One,
Yeah,
they already beat the Bills, and two, I've always shown faith from the beginning of the season on Bill Belichick, and so far, for the most part, it's been paid out. This is an extremely important game for both the Bills and the Patriots because one, if the Bills win this game, not only are they going to have a tied record with the Patriots, they're actually going to be the division leaders with the Patriots for the simple fact that Patriots already lost to the Dolphins.
right.
So from a division record standpoint, Bills will have the better division record. Ergo, Patriots will be a wild card. But here's the crazy factor in that. Right now, Bills, as we speak, hold the last wild card position. If Bills win this week, that position will basically end up going to the Patriots. Actually, that's not true. It's going to go to the Chargers because the Patriots beat the Chargers, but Patriots will be the second wild card position. There are so many teams in the AFC right now with the same exact record as all of these wild card position teams that whoever loses this game is not only jeopardizing division win, they are jeopardizing. There is a potential chance they could miss the playoffs completely.
Hmm.
Slight
Right.
chance. I don't think it's going to happen because even if Bills lose, they play the Falcons and the Jets after that. I think they'll win both of those up and they'll make the playoffs. If the Patriots lose, they play the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Dolphins after that. So I don't think either of these teams are going to miss the playoffs. I think one will be wild card. I think one will be the division leaders. But right now, they're both way too close to even risk it. It's gonna be a tough battle to and they would want whoever it is they would want to play at home rather than travel and play somebody else somewhere else. So it's an extremely important matchup. I think Cole Beasley, in my opinion, is a pretty bad loss. I don't think the Bills not being able to stop the run last time was the biggest thing in the world. I do think that Josh Allen had some pretty good throws that unfortunately were not caught by his receivers. That being said, the
Hmm.
weather is very different, the wind is very different. He's going to have more opportunity to run around and make plays. And if it also really just depends on how Patriots offense plays a lot too. If they, are they going to be the Patriots offense that showed up against the Colts or a lot of other teams that they beat along the line? So that's going to be a big factor too. But either way, yeah, it's an extremely important matchup for both of these teams.
Thought that Josh Allen throwing the ball as much, like just how the power he has compared like to Mac Jones. You know, like how like to even think in that kind of weather, Mac Jones, the game plan for him, hand the ball off, run. I think how many times he throw it, like 3 or 4 times, whatever it was, if that. Um, or did he throw it? He didn't throw it that many times, right, Mac Jones?
3 times against the Patriots, he threw it three
Yeah,
times.
I was about to say like yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure like it was
yeah.
just a handful of
He
times.
completed 2 passes. He threw it 3 times, and that
Two
was
for 2 for 3 and what 4 yards or 5, whatever it was.
yeah,
Um,
whatever.
and he got like
66% completion percentage. So I mean, hey.
I think that's why somebody on the big networks said he was like the offensive rookie of the week. Like what with those numbers? But I mean, this shows how Josh Allen's power though, like to be able to get that in there. And yeah, those passes were dropped, and some of them are kind of hard. But I mean, he was going up against hard elements that other team wouldn't, that Patriots wouldn't even think about making those kind of plays with their rookies. So, and even with all that, it was still such a tight game to the end right there. It was just like you can't do anything about it. So,
Yeah,
but I mean, Bills looking shaky. I still kind of, even with all that being said, I know I go back and forth with the Bills. The Patriots have shown me a lot. I just think the Bills have a lot of great weapons, and yeah, just talking about Josh Allen right there, how even if when they look shaky, like they still bounce back strong. They look shaky the last 2 or 3 games. They had that hard fought game, against the Patriots. Then you're going against like I think what they went against Tampa, but this is all
hmm
they've took on the Bucks before they had all those injuries too, and they bounced back against the Panthers. You beat the teams you're supposed to beat and keep on moving forward, right? But 2 division games still left, and one against the Pats already in the books. Uh, I think they can still finish strong. Like it's a away game for them right now, but I put a little bit more on edge on Bills and see how that plays out in the end. You know what I
yeah. I mean, that's fair. And I also do think if you look at the matchups coming up, Falcons and Jets, I feel like it's going to be a heck of a lot easier to beat than Jacksonville. You can beat. Dolphins already did beat the Patriots, and they're on a win streak right now. And they're hotter than they were in the beginning of the season, and they beat the Patriots in the beginning of the season. So
mean? I know,
it's
yeah,
it's important, but
big time.
we'll see what happens in the next few days here.
Most definitely, yeah. Everything's shaking up, and then we move on to like the NFC. You got the Cowboys and Washington part due again. I'm just loving that French right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep on. Uh, that's another one right there. I think it's not so much important. I mean, obviously the Cowboys got the division pretty well wrapped up. They're not saying they're not clinched yet, but they got it pretty well. And I was just wondering if Washington can be that spoiler team for the Cowboys, because I mean a lot of things is riding. Even if you're not gonna win a division, you still want to try to get good seeding for the playoffs and everything. So how do you feel like this match is coming up? Washington just lost against the Eagles last night too. So I don't know, like with all this stuff, and right when we were getting ready for this podcast, another COVID case for Washington with Holcomb going out for COVID. I don't know if he's probably vaccinated, but so we'll see how that plays out. But how do you feel that matchup going on?
Well, that matchup in general, I mean, for to answer your question as far as can Washington, like disturb the Cowboys, yes, they can. Will they? I don't think so. And one, Washington just lost to them a few weeks ago. And two, Washington also just lost to Philly. And to
Hmm.
me, it was a bigger favor to Philly, or I'm sorry, it was a bigger favor to the Cowboys that Philly won because that kind of helped cancel. They're canceling each other out
Yeah.
while Cowboys are sitting pretty. And now they're in a position where if Cowboys win one more game, just one more game, it doesn't have to be this week. Throughout the next three games, they just got to win one more game, and they will automatically, from a record standpoint, will clinch their division.
Hmm.
So can Washington disturb it? Sure, they can. Will they? I don't think so. But even if they do it, is that the end of the season for the Cowboys? No, absolutely not. But Washington right now, it's a much more important game for them because they might be potentially looking at the end of the season for them.
Hmm.
The loss against Eagles last night, it definitely hurt them a lot.
Yeah, big time. I don't know how they. I mean, NFC. I think a lot of teams are still in the wild card mix. Like AFC is a little tighter, and I was going to discuss that on the previous one with like four teams. The four second place teams are all 8-6 in the AFC. And then you got second place teams um, for the NFC. They're like 7-7, whatever it is. They're like
Yeah.
it's a whole different ball game. Like you have teams that wouldn't be anywhere in the AFC, and they got a chance over here. At least get that wild card. The only one that's like higher record is the Rams. They got 9-4 record at the moment. So I think that's the most updated records that I have right now. So
Rams are 10-4.
10-4. That's right. Yeah. 'Cause I didn't,
They won last night against Seahawks.
and that means Seahawks are way out of it now. So yeah, I haven't updated those records, but yeah. So 10-4. I mean, that just goes to my point. 10-4. You got Cowboys 10, Cardinals, Rams, Packers already clinched their
Clinched.
division, and the Bucks are 10-4. But everything else behind that 7-7, 8-6. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see as far as for the Eagles if who can get that second place spot, because it's going to be a lot of opportunity for them, in that division or in that conference. I mean, so
Yeah,
we'll
and right now Washington's actually the second team behind all the wild card spots. You got the Saints and then and then Washington. So that one loss really, they kind of shot themselves in the foot there big time. They're now
mhm.
6-8, and it's going to be hard for them to bounce back from that. I don't think they're going to see the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I mean, like you go into it, and last night they're playing with Gilbert, the quarterback. They just signed him like Friday from the Patriots practice squad, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the story that I heard. I mean, like doing that, you just got like a lot of obstacles, and they're not the only team. So I'm not going to make
Yeah.
excuses. Like everybody's got their own problems right now. So it'll be certainly interesting. I know it's like not one of the big games. I think it's going to, but I do think it's going to be on Sunday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken, right? Sunday or Monday night?
I think it's Sunday night.
Monday night, yeah, I think they were advertising. So we'll get to see it prime time. That'll be the big games for fantasy football weekend too. So see how it goes.
Well, I hate to be this guy, but I'll say this. And I kind of I went away from what I said, and I myself said, hey, I might be wrong here, and Washington might be good. But last year, when they went to the playoffs after not even going 500 in the regular season, I said
Yeah.
Washington isn't that great, and they're not going to go anywhere. And they put up a pretty good fight against the Bucks, and everybody was like, "Oh, Washington's fantastic. What are you talking about?" And then this year going in, I said, I don't think Washington's that great. And I got, there was a lot of crap talk. I mean, when I say a lot, you know who, Rob. Uh, and I kept betting against them. And at one point, they got so hot for like 5 straight weeks where they just kept proving me wrong. And eventually I caved in. I was like,
Mhm.
you know what? Fine. Maybe I got to put some respect on that team. Maybe they're good. And then boom, they lose to the Cowboys. They lose to the Eagles.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, their record is 6-8. So pretty much what I said from the get go was pretty accurate because the best they can do right now is 9-8.
They
That's
are
the
who we
best
thought
they
they
can
were.
do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. A few like 3 weeks ago, I would say the same thing. Washington is in position right now. They got a chance. They're their own worst enemy at that point. Because I mean, at that point, Cowboys are starting to falter a little bit, and then you got the Washington sneaking up. But yeah, in the end, that's what happened. But uh, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I know Washington won't go down with a fight, and maybe this could be the spoiler right now. That I guess the Cowboys be fun to watch for sure. So, but somebody that does have like a little bit of kryptonite is someone dear to you, Mr. Tom, the man Brady, uh, being shut down. It's just like complete. How we know what happened. We got injuries going all over the place. So is that all? You think that that's all that's affecting him right now, or something?
Yeah.
The Saints have the magic
No.
cure or something like that?
No. Yeah. Listen, the Saints. Do you remember last year when they played in Tampa? The home game. It was. I think it was 38-3 was the final score.
Yep.
What's different this year? There's two things different this year. Drew Brees isn't there to rack up the points. That's why the Saints scored 9 points. And as far as Bucks offense goes, one time they actually got to field goal range twice. The first time
Hmm.
Ryan Suckup misses a field goal, which is very unusual for him. If he actually makes that field goal, we're talking about the same 3 points the Bucks offense put up last year.
Right.
It's the same exact thing. There's nothing different in that sense. The Saints game, them getting shut down mean nothing to me. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing that you're shut down the first time in 15 years, all that, and it's like, oh my God, did Tom Brady really just get beaten by Taysom Hill? Any quarterback that could have put up 3 points on the Buccaneers last night, 3 points. And when I say last night, when did they play? Sunday? Yeah, Sunday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
Any quarterback that could have put up 3 points on the Bucks Sunday night without throwing a pick six would
Hmm.
have won that game. Taysom Hill did not have much to do with that game. It clearly has everything to do with the way Saints defense played, and the Saints defense played exactly the way the Saints defense played when Bucks played at home last year. So the Saints lost, and we all know what happened after the Saints beat them 38-3 with that. Tom Brady's a fraud, he's done, and then boom, Super Bowl. Saints loss means nothing to me, but what the issue is all the injuries. That is a big, big problem.
Huge blow. Yeah. And
And
you got everybody, all the key players. Yeah.
Chris Godwin was on pace to beat Tampa Bay, the franchise most reception in a season record,
Hmm.
and that was Brady's from a statistical standpoint, from a number standpoint. That was his favorite receiver over Mike Evans, over Gronkowski, over Antonio Brown, and
Right.
he's done. Leonard Fournette, we know how great he was doing for that team. He might. We don't know how long. I don't know how long he's gone for. I think at least until the playoffs, he might be out. Mike
Yeah.
Evans, he'll be back. And Mike Evans, in my opinion, like he's great. He's a fantastic receiver, but for Brady's style of play, he's one of those receivers that comes in like once every 6, 7 throws. Brady will randomly throw a pretty good pass to Mike Evans, and Evans will get that 20, 30 yard catch. And I think that has a lot to do with why Evans is on pace to hit 1,000 yards again receiving, which by the way is a record in the NFL. I think he's done it a 7 years in a row so far.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it'll happen again, but he doesn't throw the most balls to Mike Evans. So and that's just the offense. That's
Hmm.
just the offense. Levante Davis still kind of hurt. Antoine Winfield did not practice. He might be done for a minute. There's a couple other people I can't remember, but I know Richard Sherman was limited in practice. I also know Antonio Brown was limited in practice. His ankle's messed up, and he was gone for the last. He hasn't played in 4 weeks, 4 or
Yeah.
3 weeks. So I mean, I would imagine he was resting his ankle the entire time, but think that okay, AB's back next week, but no, he was limited in practice because his ankle's messed up. Yeah, it's looking a little scary. Will Bucks win their division? Absolutely. They literally just need one more win. Just like we're talking about the Cowboys, they are 3 games ahead of everybody else. There's only 3 games left.
Hmm.
Bucks just got to win one more game, and they will win the division. No doubt about that. And
Yeah.
they are going to win at least one more game. When they get to the playoffs, do I have trust in Brady? Absolutely. Heck yeah, I do. It's Tom Brady. But man, they've taken a lot. They took a lot of punishment. It wasn't forget the loss. It's the loss of the players that's a huge punishment for them.
I mean, yeah, Bucks got the opportunity and everything, and they're. I know before this you were talking about there's only two teams that have two or less players in COVID protocols, right? Uh,
There's 18 teams that has two or less players in
oh, 18.
COVID.
Okay, so
Yeah,
they're one of the teams right there. It looks like just Perriman's the only one that just got added on the 18. So as far as COVID, they haven't been hit by that. Yeah, we talked about Antonio Brown being one of the guys sidelined right now, and just talks about maybe like him not being on the team. I think if I heard anything, but Arians shut that down quick. So it was just like a matter of who they have right now, and you need everybody. You need all hands on deck. So talking about cutting
yeah.
anybody for whatever
A-
reason, it's
And
ludicrous.
Jose, I think the only winner in all of this, honestly, might be AB.
Hmm.
I think if Bucks would have won that game, which I still partially, and I could be wrong here because of the way they were playing beforehand in the first half, but if Bucks would have won that game, which I think would have happened if all the players stayed healthy and they came up, they already won the division. They're coming out. They have easy games coming up next. All their players are healthy, at least on the offensive side of the football. I think there was a bigger chance AB was going to get cut or at least
Yeah.
benched. And then they'll be like, we'll see what happens in the playoffs. Maybe we'll need him. That's probably why they haven't cut him yet. But the next couple of games aren't that tough. They got two. They're going to play the Panthers twice, and I think they play the Jets.
Oh wow.
They'll be
Yeah.
fine. So,
Yeah.
so
Cruise a little bit.
yeah, but I do think AB got lucky a little bit because now they kind of need AB a little bit.
Right. I mean, they need yeah, like I said, all hands on deck. It's just moving forward for the regular season. Hopefully, Fournette can come back. If he does that, at least he has a run. I mean, he was moving the ball even with Evans and Godwin out because I think they went out before Fournette. I think Fournette went out in the third quarter, right?
Yeah,
So,
Godwin went out first, and that
so,
was that hit. Oof.
right, and so I mean that all those put together and everything. Fournette, he's always moving the ball. So I think he has that and then AB back in there. And another week too. Like you play with your backups for a little bit. Brady can make anybody look good. So I mean, we hope these next three games can give him that chance to like really get the sink right there. And
I don't
yeah,
know, man. There were so many drop passes in this game
yeah,
that blew my mind. What was happening with Rob Gronkowski? I don't know if you saw any of the game.
oh yeah, yeah. I saw. I didn't watch the last
God,
4 minutes because I was like, you know what, I'm done because like yeah, they're not gonna. I think Tom was done too, throwing those tablets out there on the sideline.
best throw of the night.
That's what I heard. Yeah, the best. That's the best completion. But that was a drop pass too. Nobody caught that. So, but it was bad. Yeah. So I mean, Gronkowski. Yeah, it was just him. Though he couldn't catch everything, right? So like Giselle says, he can't throw and catch the ball at the same time. So it's gonna be at least you got those next 3 weeks. That sounds like a pretty
Yeah,
nice little schedule and
yeah.
everything. Because
And they just got to win one. At this point, there's no way you're gonna make the number one seed So don't even worry about that. Just win the division, get the home game. Honestly, if I were them, I would put everything they got to this coming week against the Panthers, try to win that game, and then just rest people. It's
Right.
okay. Just loose out. Who cares? Like, just
But I mean, I don't know, man. Like, not the number one seed, but wait, is the only the first place team get the bye, or there's first and
yeah,
second?
only one team gets a bye.
Yeah, they probably can't catch no Packers, and yeah,
Yeah,
so Packers already
you're
got
not
the 11 and
catching the
3.
Packers, man.
So who knows, man? Maybe there'd be a NFC Packers Bucks game, uh, championship again, and then Aaron Rodgers can run the ball everywhere, and that'd be fun. We'll see. So another nail biter too. Well, I don't know why I say another nail biter because we're just talking about nail biter, but a nail biter. The Chiefs Charger game did so Chiefs. I like the Chiefs. I like Mahomes when he plays. Okay, this is gonna sound bad. When he plays good, when he makes good decisions and everything. I think when he gets a little bit out of the craziness and everything and does a lot of passes that he shouldn't be doing, the game gets away from him and he tries to make too much. I bet on him last year. You know this. You know this about me. I like Mahomes. Okay, Mahomes. I was gonna say Mahomie. I like him. Okay, so I like him to move forward. So this game right here, I think it's one of those games where I'm talking about where he didn't make mistakes, where he was actually doing that. And the Chargers made a lot of mistakes. So to be able to be that far ahead and then and then lose it, I don't know, tough game. But a really good game though. So what do you think?
It was so weird watching that game because I personally think the Chargers outplayed the Chiefs.
Hmm.
I truly believe that. And I also think that coming out of that game, if we were to have a rematch, I think I feel better about the Chargers than I do about the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs just won that game. I think the Chargers lost that game more than the Chiefs won that game. I don't know if that makes sense to you,
Yeah.
but and I'm not disagreeing on any of the play calls at all. Three times they were in the red zone, three times they didn't kick field goals, three times they decided to go for on fourth and goal. All three times they didn't get it. That's at least, we could say 9 points left on the board. I don't disagree with those play calls because you are playing Patrick Mahomes and you are right there and you have Justin Herbert and you trust your offense to make a play to put 7 points up on the board. So I very much support those. But that being said, there was twice where there was drop passes on those. One of them, uh, tight end got concussed. Don't care about I mean, that's fine. It's okay to drop that pass at that point. I don't blame anybody on it. But it's not if you're a Chiefs fan, you should be a little worried about the fact that the Chargers made it there so many times. And I get that you can be proud of your defense for stopping them on fourth and goal. But if you go
Right.
back and think, and I understand situational football, if they would have kicked the field goal, maybe the way they play after that changes a little bit. I get all of that. But if they would have just gotten those points, game probably would have never even went overtime. And if the
Mhm.
game went overtime and when the game went overtime, if Chargers have gotten the ball, do you think the outcome would have been the same? Because the Chargers are very much capable of driving down the field and scoring. They've proven it to you. The only time I felt like the Chiefs played better, or one of the very few times I felt like the Chiefs played better, was late in the fourth quarter. I'll give them that. There was a minute and some change left on the clock when the Chiefs tied up the game, and Chargers were unable to go score a field goal to win the game.
Right.
So that I'll give all the credits to the Chiefs for that. And then the way the Chiefs offense played in overtime, the way the Chiefs offense played right before fourth quarter. But overall, I think the Chargers did a better job. They just couldn't finish. And if they play again right now, I don't know, man. I think it could be a toss-up game. I don't think it's all going to be on the Chiefs.
Uh, Very well could be. Yeah. With the Chargers, sounds like they're playing not to lose at one point. However, when I say that, then I'm thinking they went to so many times on fourth down. But as many points as they, if we want to, like, I've heard this point. If we're going to criticize them for the points they left on the board, left off the board, then we can say, hey, they got two of those conversions right, and then they put some points on the board because of it. Um, it's kind of like a crazy dichotomy, I guess, when you think about it, just how
Yeah.
they play the game and how it shaped out. And yeah, I think who knows? You can't say 100%. Obviously, the Chargers get the ball at the end in the overtime, or they get a walk off touchdown. It's you can't say 100%, but they have an opportunity. I mean, like they scored enough points uh, to have that opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And like at the end of the day, Chiefs did win the game. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. I think they did great, and there's a reason why they're top seed in the AFC right now. But
Right.
yeah, I just Chargers don't dismiss them. That's all I'm saying.
No, yeah, they have a lot of good plays, and a lot of that. I'm thinking about when like the analytics of fourth down plays and how many more, especially with the Chargers. That's just how he's going to play. That's how the coach. He already no apologies for it. That's how
That
I'm
wasn't it.
thinking.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to keep doing it. Like, well, analytics show it, and I'm just wondering if the analytics are so good for fourth down conversions. I think it's
No,
because so many
no,
old school. Yeah, that's
no,
what they're saying.
no.
Fourth down.
A-
They are.
Jose, analytics
Hold up.
tells you to run the same play. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I'm not talking about running the same play, but yes, that's a good point. And you always hear everybody, commentator, everybody saying fourth down. Uh, it's more effective to do it. The statistically speaking, it's a better play to do go for it on fourth down. However, I'm just thinking maybe it's the best play, maybe it's 100%, maybe it's 90%, whatever it is on analytics showing. Maybe it's because not a lot of people in the past have done it. In the old school fourth down, 30-yard line, 20-yard, you kick a field goal. You get the points up there on the board, right? Um, when is there going to be a time when the analytics flip? Like fourth down is not that good of a. He made 6 points, but he left, like you said, it left 9 points up there. If they're close enough for that play, you know what I mean?
Here's my issue with analytics. Okay, and I'm not going to put any specific situation in there. I'm just going to throw
Oh yeah,
players' names out there because this is what I don't think analytics takes into consideration when they say go for it or don't go for it. Who's on the other side of the football?
yeah, that's
If
fair.
you're at you whether you want to take the points or don't want to take the points, analytics is going to suggest as the same play in the same situation, whether it's Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady or
Yeah.
it's Geno Smith playing football. I'm not even trying to say Geno Smith is bad or Zach Wilson.
Okay, that's
That's
hurtful.
not taken. Analytics doesn't take that into consideration. You know who does? Human beings take that into consideration. Why are Chargers trying to score the points? Because it's Patrick Mahomes on the other side. Do you think if the
Yeah,
Chargers were inside the 5 and it's a fourth and goal and you got Zach Wilson on the other end, you're thinking, 3 points. That'll probably beat them in the
shut them
game.
down.
Take the points. That's where I have a problem with analytics. Who is the defense? Are you running the ball or are you throwing the ball? Because you know what? The Ravens threw it twice recently, didn't work.
Right. I
And
just,
I,
I mean, like, do you think that they're not considering this? You think that the coaches are like, by the way, we always make a fourth and one with this play. Let's go ahead and do it, no matter what part of the field they're on. I don't know.
and
I
and
would
and the
hope they.
Chargers had good plays.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The Chargers had two drop passes. One of them was batted down. I mean, that's on Herbert. But they had good play designs. If they would have just executed properly, they would have been good.
Right.
So I don't. That's why I'm saying I don't disagree with the call at all. I think I totally agree with the call. I just think the Chargers probably should have won that game.
I mean, I like going on fourth and down as like a fan. You like
Oh,
to
me
see,
too.
oh man, it's like
Me
it's
too.
good, but as far as just saying because of analytics, like yeah, there's
Yeah.
so many variables, and I'm like, okay, field position, I guess that's obviously one right there. Where you're at, and I'm not gonna go fourth and one when I'm on the 1 yard line, my own 1 yard line. I'm not
Oh,
doing
dude.
that.
I'm all about going for it all the time. You just never
Yeah.
see me watch a football game. I'm in my cheerleader outfit, just like be aggressive.
Well, unless we're playing Madden, I don't want to go for it on fourth and one every single time because
Oh
I'm
yeah,
changing the
duh.
difficulty. So, but
It's Madden.
where you gotta we're not. We're playing big games, and Chargers Chiefs is a big game right there.
Yeah,
Good
it's a
mix right
huge
there.
game.
I mean, exactly, yeah. So on times like that, yeah, I get who's on the other side, but I wonder, uh, 3 points. Who knows? It's not necessarily you hit those extra two field goals and you're ahead 6 points at the end of the game. It's not going to say that because obviously situational. will cause a
Yeah,
difference. But it gives you a chance. And I know it's Patrick Mahomes on the other side, but even he's human, and we've seen that in the first few parts of the week. Who knows?
we saw
Maybe
that against the Chargers for the first like half
yeah,
of the game.
exactly. So knowing that, and if you put him in a position to make those mistakes, then maybe it changes the outcome. Who knows? Yeah, obviously I'm Monday morning or whatever Wednesday afternoon quarterbacking. Yeah, so obviously, so we have more time to look at this. But yeah, saying all that, then I'm also contradicting myself again. Yes, I would love to see those 4th and 1, and I'm glad the Chargers. He's making no apologies for it, so it is what it is. I want to do it, and hopefully better situational
Yeah,
analytics will come into play moving forward. I just think just going for it for the sake of going for it, that's where I have an issue with it. So hopefully it doesn't come back to bite them in the butt. Because like they're second place right now in their division, right? They're 8-6,
yeah,
two
and
two
they're
games.
currently holding a wild card spot, so they look like they're in a pretty okay position.
Yeah, they need to. I mean, they got Bills, Chargers, Ravens, and Colts. Everybody. Oh, wait, did I update the Colts? I don't know. 8-6, everybody. So they're all pretty close. It's gonna be a tight race, and see how that plays out in the end for sure. Then who's that? Steelers too. We're gonna talk a little bit Steelers and how they're shaping up because they're right behind the Ravens. Did I get the right record right now? Steelers at 7-6. Or you got that too? Or
7-5-1, I believe,
oh, did I not update it properly?
because they have that tie. We keep
Seven
forgetting about the tie.
7-6-1,
Oh,
right?
7-6-1. I apologize. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're
Right.
right. 7-6-1.
Sorry, Lions. I know you went in there and tied them. So yes. Uh, um, Steelers. I love Big Ben, but I mean, come on, this year is just like just another nail in the coffin. I don't know if he's geared up to be able to produce. Like you got Bengals and Ravens. Bengals sneaking in there into to the mix out of nowhere. I don't know how they got there so good, but um, Bengals and Ravens, and we'll see how Lamar looks moving into the next week. I know he got a little bit banged up and all that. How you feel about the Steelers moving forward? Like, you think Big Ben has one more push in them to be able to get to that first round playoff game like last year?
I don't think so, and it's unfortunate because I kind of been picking the Steelers randomly, saying I think they're a little. Last year I gave them a lot of crap, even though they went 11-0 to or not begin the season, almost 3/4 of the way through the season. I
Right.
said they're not that great, right? This season, even though they were losing, I was like, I think the Steelers this season is better than they were last season, and I truly mean that. Even though their record doesn't show it, they have the Chiefs, Browns, and Ravens coming up. Can they win all three of those games? They can. Will they? I don't know. I don't think they're gonna beat the Chiefs. They could, but I highly doubt they're gonna beat the Chiefs. Browns, they very much can. Ravens, the Ravens are playing like crap right now. They very much can. Only problem is that'll put them at 9 wins, and currently they still have four teams in the AFC ahead of them, and that's not including the playoff positions. That's the three wild card position, followed by the Ravens, and then
Right.
it's the Steelers. So if three of these teams can win two more games, which I think, considering it's the Bills, the Chargers, and the Colts,
Hmm.
I highly doubt that the Steelers are gonna win out enough, and the other teams are gonna lose enough games for them to actually have a wild card round. But I will be very excited to see that if they actually do make it. That tie against Detroit was that's biting them in the butt right now. If they would have won that one game, then they're also 8-6. They've already beaten the Browns. They already beaten the Ravens. They would actually be the next step to hold that wild card spot. And
Right.
Bills, Chargers, Colts. I mean, at that point they got something to fight for. But right now, it's only one game, but it doesn't look too pretty for them right now.
I mean that Lions loss, then that's one thing. Fortunately, we can't
It's not a loss.
we don't
It's not a loss.
oh, it's a loss. It's a loss,
It's a
man.
tie.
The Steelers isn't gonna count that as a win or even a draw for that point matter. But no,
Mason Rudolph played. Big Ben did not
exactly.
play that game.
I was actually gonna mention that, like, that's one thing we can actually not attribute to Ben Roethlisberger because, yeah, he wasn't playing that game. However, everything else, yeah, it's on you, buddy. So, I mean, like, if I give him all the credit in the world for everything else he does,
Yeah,
that I can't blame him for that one because it was
yeah.
and yeah, it's a
It,
loss. I mean, the Lions are good, but not that great, so
and I will say this real quick. I think everybody pretty much knows at the end of the year, Big Ben's probably going to retire. There's an extremely high chance. I highly doubt he's coming back.
I know,
And
right? Yeah.
considering how the last 2 to 3 years for the Steelers went, I feel like so many of the viewers, you what's fresh on your mind is what you kind of see things as, and you're probably gonna look at Big Ben and go, "Oh, look at that big guy, like big chubby guy, is just like he shouldn't have even played football." It'll seem like, but don't
Mhm.
forget what he's done in the past. I do want to throw that out there. And
Right.
this year, I forget exactly who they were playing, but Big Ben had a fourth quarter game-winning drive, and
Mhm.
he took over. He now has the third most fourth quarter or overtime game-winning drives. And you know who he took over?
Tony Romo.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady. And I don't think that's including playoffs. I think that's why, but he just took over. So it's nothing to disrespect that. I think Big Ben is still such a fantastic quarterback, and I hope people remember that when he retires at the end of the season.
So here's
Hall of
another
Fame,
one.
no
Is that
doubt,
like
Hall of Famer.
is that like those fourth quarter comebacks to win the game and all that? But what did he do in the first three quarters? Did he cause any of that action to be behind? Like
Possibly, but I mean, the
I
whole
doubt it.
point of talking about the statistics is, hey, were you like when your team needed you the most? What did you do?
Right. Okay. That's
You
fair.
know,
I
I mean,
understand that.
that's like if that's the case, then none of Brady's comeback should count because he's thrown interception, he's thrown pick six in Super Bowls before.
Yeah, but no, but it won't put him into like a bind. Like if you throw three of them, whatever, and then you're like, oh, I'm behind two touchdowns. Oh, and then I come
I-
back. But I
he's
mean,
gone down 28-3. That's
I,
something.
I don't think that's the case here. I like to look at those stats, and see like how much of it was your fault that they're
Yeah.
losing. But it probably is. I mean, Big Ben is a good quarterback. Not lately, but there's still flashes of genius you can see every now
Did
and
you
then.
say not lately or not legally?
Not lately.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, okay.
We're gonna leave that behind. Okay, that
Legally
was a while ago.
Well, yeah, legally fits too, but let's go. Yeah, let's go to the next one. um, who's the next one we have in the mix? Cardinals. Yeah, that's a team that's on top right now, but looking pretty shaky on their tower right now. So how you feel?
On
Going
top of
into
what? Their division?
aren't they on top? Their division, yeah,
Their
not the
division? Yeah, they are. They're not the top of the conference.
not it.
They fell
Yeah,
hard.
no.
Yeah.
How come this is a nice big banner we have here? That's pretty cool. Is
Th-
that not crawling or
But
anything like that?
that's our
Yeah,
next question, Jose. You're jumping ahead. It's almost like you don't even care about the Cardinals.
I don't even know what did I not write the Cardinals the banner on here? Okay, let's just go for it, man. As you were, sir.
So, first question for you. The Pittsburgh Steelers tying with Mason Rudolph against the Lions is considered a loss. What
Correct.
do you consider when the Cardinals put up 12 points against the Lions and lose by multiple touchdowns?
That is the worst beatdown in the history of beatdowns. Then, if that's if the ratio, because yeah, that is unheard of. I mean, like I would never have guessed that in the like any bets in the world.
Somehow, Brady putting up 0 points doesn't feel of a big loss as much as the Cardinals losing to the Lions in the fashion they did.
Sure, but it's up there. Don't try to minimize Brady's shutdown. Okay,
Oh,
don't
he
try.
got shut down. I admitted it. He played like crap. They all
You're like,
play like crap.
you're like, oh yeah, but the Cardinals lost again.
It's the
No, no,
Lions.
no.
It's
Let's
the
leave Brady out of
Lions.
this one because they're both equally bad. So yeah, Cardinals shaky and everything. And are they also one of the 18 teams that don't have a lot of COVID cases on their squad? They
Yeah.
have a few banged up players, but who doesn't these days? I mean, it's like I'm coming through the last
End of the
weeks.
season. Heck
Everybody,
yeah, you do. Yeah.
like, I heard somebody like, yeah, you have some banged up players. Guess what? So does everybody else. Everybody's hurt right now, and they're playing through. So. we're just looking at that, right? I mean, as far as injuries, injury wise, for they have players that are limited, but they're still good. James Conner, Rondale Moore, Jordan Phillips. Those are they didn't participate. Heel, ankle, knee. But
There's a few.
Zach Ertz, limited practice. That's a concerning one right there. He's a good tight end, right? I wonder how this can shape up going into the last weeks. I don't think they're in position right now to be that powerhouse and get that number one spot.
I
For
mean, from a number statistical standpoint, they very much can. Cowboys, Bucks, any of these teams can be number one seed. Will it happen? I highly doubt it.
I mean,
Um,
'cause you got the Packers over there in the NFC. You know, they got 11-3 right now for the Packers.
yeah, so they're only one game up. You got three
Uh,
games to go, so statistically they could.
Statistically, yeah. I mean, they're not out of the running, but I don't know if they're
It's not gonna
capable of
happen.
it. Yeah, because you got then you're banking on the Packers losing a game. Also, I don't know who they're playing, but I know that the Chiefs, not the Chiefs, Cardinals. That's what I'm looking at right now. Do I not have their research? There it is. Cardinals record. They're playing Colts, and then at Cowboys, and then they're playing Seahawks. So Colts is a toss up for me as far as that, and Cowboys would be a tough game too. So I don't know, 2 out of 3 Seahawks. I know they're not looking great, but they have a pretty tough end of season going for it. You know
They
what I mean?
do, and I think the Rams have it easier because the Rams are playing Vikings, Ravens, and 49ers as opposed to what you just said for the Cardinals as Colts, Cowboys,
Yeah,
and Seahawks.
right.
Here's the good news. Good news is there's an extremely low chance, and when I say extremely low chance, I'm like 99% sure that the Cardinals will at least make the wild card spot.
Yeah. I think that's a that's a pretty good given right there. I would
Yeah,
put that as a
there are 10 games already.
yeah. Give you that.
Bad news is you do have a tougher next 3 weeks than the Rams have.
Yeah, big time.
And so there is a very good chance that the Rams can take over and end up being the division winners while you're the wild card round.
Mhm.
Good news is you play better on the road. You've proven that all season. You
Right.
play better on the road. You, I did was the Lions in Detroit? I think that was in Detroit. I think that's the first road game the Cardinals lost.
For the Lions, yeah, they were at Detroit. Yeah.
They were in Detroit. I think that's the first road game because they lost 3 games at home, and they finally lost a game on the road against the Lions. They are statistically better on the road, and what I think you should do, obviously, play to make sure you make that wild card spot. Right? If you can get the number one seed, great. But by the very last week, if you're in a position where you might not be able to get that division win,
Right.
bend your players, rest everybody, let them breathe, because you going on the road doesn't mean much to you.
Mhm.
So instead of trying to get the home field advantage, get rest, let everybody take off a week, get healthy, and then come back and play. I think that's a good news for the Cardinals, but man, you just lost to the Lions.
Well, the good. Another good thing is two of the last 3 games are at home anyway, so they don't have to really go traveling too much. They play at the Cowboy Stadium, so that'll be that'll be interesting. And like, it's so hard to tell these days. I mean, we talk all the numbers and everything like this, and it's just with all the COVID stuff going on, who's going to be playing, injuries rampant, So if they
Yeah.
can stay healthy, I think they could. Like if Kyler's in there, wide receiver. Golly, I'm drawing a blank for my H Town receiver that I almost DeAndre's over there.
Oh, Hopkins. Okay. I was like, man, what are you talking
I'm
about?
like, how can I forget one of those Houston's treasures that got sent away? How could I almost forget his name? But yeah, if they're playing on fire, like that, they have a good chance if and they can get 2 out of these 3 games. Who knows? It's not a given, but the Packers are holding that that lead right now. But you're right; they're not out of contention to get that, and it wouldn't be bad
Yeah,
to get that first week by going into the playoffs and really rest up after doing all that. So it'll be interesting for sure. I can't wait to hear like we were talking about the other day. I can't wait to hear all the scenarios of who wins, who loses, and who gets into the
that
playoffs.
week 16 and 17, or week 17 and 18 is gonna be nuts, man.
It's
I
gonna be
can't.
like
Yeah, you're right.
what's gonna happen.
That's when I give up because there's so many scenarios. That's when I'm like, I'm just gonna just watch the games and enjoy and tune out for the
Yeah,
next 2 weeks. And then Monday night after week 18, we'll see where everybody's. And we'll
good.
go from there.
I'm
We'll
just
reevaluate at that point.
I'm really glad as a Texans fan. I know that we're out of playoff contention 4 weeks ago, so that's a relief, a less stressful week for me right there, and I can just watch everybody else struggle for the remainder of the season. So my heart
You
rate's
wanna
good.
you wanna know something sadder than that?
What's
The
yeah, man.
Detroit Lions got eliminated from the playoffs after the Texans did.
I don't understand. We had the same record as them, yes, and we were eliminated 3 weeks ago, and so like I don't know, whatever. Let us be the first ones in line. We're gonna so don't remind me.
It's because of the rest of the records in the NFC and the AFC.
It was that, and we have the same record as the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they were still not eliminated. So I don't understand. Like, and we beat them twice.
Because you started winning after you were eliminated.
We were so good. We were so good this season against the Jaguars, and one time against the Titans. But anyways, we're we're on a tangent right now that we should not be on. Okay, so let's go talk about some good
Yeah,
teams.
Texans are not worth our minutes.
In 2 years and 3 years, when they rebuild, then maybe the Texans will be good. We can talk about them for a little bit more, but then we gave them too much airtime right now. Ravens going for another one, gone for two. Another time, it's the second time they've done that, right? In the past how many weeks? Uh,
Twice now, and
yeah.
they didn't get it both times.
I mean, let's see here.
I'll let you take this one because I want to hear your thoughts on it because I think I have a pretty, I don't know how I feel about it, thought on it.
It's kind of the same tangent as going for it on fourth and one. Like fourth and whatever. Uh, Do analytics support it? I don't know. Maybe they do, or maybe they don't. But it's nice to see uh, being bold. Go bold or go home. Right. So I like it. However, I don't know. Like as far as crucial gameplay, I think in one of those obviously could have sent it the game into overtime, just kicking a field goal. So just kind of seeing where they sit on it. I think it's always good to go for it on like for two. If you're trying to be like bold, if you don't trust your kickers first, also another thing. So to me, yes, should you have gone for two? Yes. A lot of teams don't trust their kicker there, Tom. So yeah, go for it. Go for
Do
it.
you know who the Ravens kicker is?
He's pretty good.
Just is he pretty good?
I just play for you. Yes, I know he's the best kicker in the league. Yes,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure on
but I
that.
also don't know what Harbaugh's thinking, and half the time what he's thinking. For me, kicking a extra point is always a safe bet and everything. But for coaches like that go for it, they're bold. Yeah, go for it. Go for two every single time. So even if you're even if you do have the best kicker in the game, so
Uh, so my answer is no.
no,
And
okay,
I know that sounds pretty interesting for a person who continuously said that I'm always down to go for it. I want to be aggressive. And this is one of those things. Throw the analytics out of the window. Okay.
always
Here's why my answer is no. I have two reasons. Aaron Rodgers,
okay,
42 seconds on the clock. Okay.
yeah,
If so, what the Ravens should have done, what Harbaugh should have coached to Huntley was, hey, if you can go get a first down, go get a first down. Okay, that's what he should have done. Do not score a touchdown with more than 20 seconds on the clock. Why? Because it's Aaron Rodgers on the other side. If you score a touchdown with more than 20 or 30 seconds on the clock, what do? You kick a field goal. Why? You tie up the game, you give the ball to the Packers. The Packers know even if they don't score, they can take their chances in overtime. If they have a bad play on first and second down, they will be conservative on the third down.
Mhm.
They will kneel. They will let the clock run out, take their chances in overtime.
Yeah, let me
But
ask
with
you.
42 seconds and one timeout left, if you would have scored and you actually got the 2 points, now the Packers have no choice. Even if they get to third down, even if they get to fourth down, they gotta try and get that first down. So even if Rodgers would have thrown incomplete passes first and second down, at that point on a third and 10, what are you saying? Are you saying to throw it again? Or hey, be conservative? No, you have to throw it because you're down a point. You have to try and find a way to get a field goal. And
Mhm.
typically, fourth quarter, overtime, game on the line, there's that handful of quarterbacks you pick and go, give me that guy, I'll take him, right? But
Right.
when it's less than 1 minute left on the clock, there's no other quarterback I would rather have. And yes, this includes Tom Brady. He's my favorite quarterback of all time. If you give me less than 60 seconds on the clock and you tell
Yeah.
me I ended a touchdown or a field goal, dude, I'm taking Rodgers. I've seen this happen before.
Yeah.
I've seen him literally go down the field and go score against. I don't know if you remember the game against the Cardinals in the divisional round championship, two back-to-back Hail Marys.
Mhm.
That
Oh man. Yeah.
this year, I think it was the 49ers. I'm not sure who he was playing. Two throws down the middle, both went to who's his number one receiver? Adams. Both
Yeah.
went to Devontae Adams. Went in, got in range, Crosby kicked it. They made the field goal. 42
Right.
seconds left on the clock. You don't go for it. You kick the field goal and you hope you can get a stop because they're going to be a heck of a lot more aggressive if you get the extra point. They
Hmm.
shouldn't have scored that fast. That's what I really think. I think they should have went for the two, but after scoring the test, after running the clock down like 20 more seconds and then scoring a
Yeah.
touchdown. Hundley ran for it. He had the clear path. I get it. He could have scored, so he scored. But man, I would have just
Yeah.
went down at the 1 yard line.
I mean, they outscored the Packers in the fourth quarter. There's and the only quarter that they actually outscored them in 13-10. That
Yeah,
one, that the extra
yeah.
2 points right there could have sealed the game. You
I get that, but right now the game would be on the line.
Yeah, I mean, you do that, and it doesn't stray from what he normally does. I mean, obviously, uh, we saw a few weeks back, how he did the same situation and going in for it, but
Yeah,
different quarterback. You also had Lamar at that point,
yeah.
and so uh, knowing all that, just maybe trusting the offense too much in a situation like that. I guess leaving too much time on the clock, a lot of variables. But I know that Harbaugh is like also very aggressive, so will that cost them too? That's a big one right there. Who knows if they would have gone off and tied that game or won that game in
Oh
overtime,
yeah,
or if Rodgers goes all the way to the end. They're eight and
yeah.
six right now, and they're tied with the Bengals at 8-6 right now too. It's just a big what if, at that point. What they could be
Eh,
10-4 at this point, right?
yeah. And I will say this: um I'm very happy how great like Huntley's surprising me. He's playing
Yeah,
so good.
I mean to be in the mix, yeah, for real.
Yeah, he's playing better than Lamar is this season. Hey, you can hate me for saying that, but it's true.
Well, he's got a smaller block of of gameplay time right now. But yeah, for what he's
Yeah,
done, I mean, to be in the mix right there at the very end with Aaron Rodgers on the other side, yeah, for sure. And Lamar has coughed up a lot of balls, a lot of interceptions, a lot of turnovers, and all that. So yeah, big picture, it looks like he's playing a lot better, and who knows how much that would have affected, how much that's going to affect the next 3 weeks. But maybe maybe Lamar comes back, and maybe he's stronger for it, and who knows, what we don't nobody knows. Nobody can, like, even the experts, we don't like, there's no way to find out who's gonna win what with the season that like we have right now. So it's definitely gonna be fun, entertaining for sure, right?
yeah.
Any final
Mhm.
thoughts? Anything that stood out to you this week, or anything that stands out coming moving forward?
Nothing in particular. I think the only thing I think you totally skipped over the Packers.
Yeah, really?
We
Okay.
had the Packers on the list to see how who
Oh
we think
man, I did not write them on my. Well, is that on the was that on the text? Totally. Yeah. That was not on purpose. Wait, let's talk about the Packers. You didn't write the Packers on the text either, buddy.
The what?
You didn't write it on the text.
You texted it to me, buddy.
Oh my God, I missed that
I
out.
didn't write it. You wrote it. This was
Uh,
your topic.
but yeah, Packers are the only ones that clinched their division. I think because that's probably why I didn't mention it because we did. Just a fun factoid. Can I give you a fun fact that I was looking through when I was looking at the
Oh,
records?
love fun facts.
Fun facts. The Chiefs this season they beat Washington at Washington, and there's no dig at anybody that likes Washington, but they beat them 31-13. So like, was it when the numbers go forward and backwards the same? And then they beat the Raiders 41-14. I thought that was pretty interesting. So 4-1-1-4, 3-1-1.
Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, that's my fun fact of the week. I'm going to leave you guys with that note. That's my
fun, fun little statistics.
because I like fun with numbers. It's good, great. So a lot to look forward to. We got some more weekend games this week. Hopefully, none of them get postponed until tomorrow or to Tuesday games. That'll be definitely good to see. You and Jared gonna be back tomorrow, right? Or Friday, rather.
Friday.
Friday to do your picks for the week, and I hope you guys the best of luck on your picks and see how that turns out. Uh, as always, it's good to be back, and we'll continue doing this. I'll be back a couple weeks from now and see how it plays out, and then that'll be next year, right? 2 weeks from now.
Yes, sir.
I'll be back next year, everybody. So
Happy
okay,
New Year.
happy New Year to you, man. Thank you. Very fun. Let me go ahead and see if I can do this closing out the proper way because I know I messed up the intro today, and then we'll go from there. Talk to you soon, man.